playoff push and then kind of all this World Cup preparation?
Familiar territory. I think when you're part of a sports organization, certainly a football team, you have to always be driving that culture, the championship winning mentality. You don't always get to win. Not everybody does. One team does at the end of the day, but it's about a mentality. So that's been, again, I've come at a really good time, but there's ups and downs in everything we do. So having seen a lot of that, rode a lot of those waves, I'm pretty understanding of how that works. But we're in a good way right now, and you kind of don't mess with things, and you allow those performances to continue to happen. On the World Cup side, I've been to one World Cup, as I said, as a fan, 3 World Cups as a player. It's everything for fans. It's everything for a player. When you start playing soccer, you dream about playing for your national team. In between there, you play for some club teams that you may have loyalty to. You dream about playing for your country, and to be a part of that, knowing that in 2 years I'll be a part of another World Cup with this city in a major way. As I said, brings a smile on my face, and trying to convey that to the greater Houston area and businesses and the people about how this is going to be a life-changing event.
Are you using your experience as a player at World Cups to kind of give input on what you might need to provide for players from visiting nations?
Yeah. I mean, that's part of what we're talking about. Is like there's an access point, right? Like everybody wants to be in the stadium, but ultimately there can only be 50, 60, 70,000 people in any given stadium, right? There's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people who are going to experience the World Cup in our cities here in Houston that won't have tickets, but they're still hungry for it. And I experienced that as a player, and that's what, when I talk about the excitement of playing in a game, yeah, it was my everything. But what added to that pageantry was being in my hotel and not being able to sleep because people are outside banging drums, and there's this excitement around World Cups that as a player, I can help add insight to local businesses and the community at large.
How are you balancing your time between, the Dynamo Jazz, World Cup planning, and all the other responsibilities you got going on?
Time is non-existent. Good to see you again. It's all kind of just a few different hats. Keep a few different hats in the bag, and easily transition from one to the next. It's it's again why I signed on. You and I talked. It's what I love to do. I love to problem solve within teams, within cities. I also like to enjoy the good moments and figure out the tough times, and they're kind of I share my time equally depending on what's needed. So that part's been easy for me. It's been a lot, but it's what I signed up for and what I'm excited about.
Houston is a major market when it comes to sports, soccer, and Houston Dynamo is an iconic club when it comes to the city.
Yeah.
And you now being a backbone of this thing. I want to ask you this: how is this club working with other local soccer clubs in the community to create a stronger World Cup or soccer culture ahead of the World Cup? For example, I covered World Cup in South Africa 2010. I think that was my beginning of my career. And there is this thing called Vuvuzela. If you remember it.
Oh, I remember.
The World Cup has ended, but that iconic item still resonates when you talk about Vuvuzela and the World Cup.
Yeah.
Is there anything like that in the offering with the committee, to create such iconic landmark when the soccer World Cup ends?
Yeah, very, very vast question. A good one. When I think about the vuvuzelas, again, speaking of not being able to sleep and having the vuvuzelas outside, that was very organic and holistic to South Africa. And I don't know if that was necessarily a marketing pitch. That became iconic during and after, and it was part of the culture. And I think when you look at America, Houston's going to have a completely different cultural impact on the World Cup than, let's say, LA. And that's going to be down to how the city reacts and responds. Of course, local businesses, and that they have a part to play in that. But ultimately, to answer your first question, in general, when it comes to Houston Dynamo and Dash, we're putting a lot of effort into youth soccer. I would also suggest we can always do more. There's always a desire to do more. If I look at any market in America, no matter how much they're doing, they need to do more. Because, as I've often talked about, youth soccer in America is flawed. I'm a part of that as a young player, and I'm a part of that as a father who had a daughter go through the system. So my desire is to continue to bang that drum, is to continue to make what we have here in Houston accessible to any socioeconomic background, white, black, indifferent. It doesn't matter. This is, when you look at the world of soccer, and that's why I'm so excited for the World Cup to come. I've played all across the world: Africa, South America, Asia, Europe. I lived in Europe and played there for a decade and a half. The sport is offered to everybody. We haven't done a great job of that in America because I've lived that system, but also here in Houston to be a part of the offering to many clubs, not to ostracize one club because they have more money than the other, but to bring everybody in. So it's a task.
So when you look at the Houston Dynamo now, under new head coach, this is back-to-back playoff appearance.
Yep.
And in this part of the world, success in a season start from playoff qualification.
Correct.
Then you go to, you keep going up.
Yep.
This is second time. Last season, they were just a game away from the MLS.
That's right.
And now here they are again. Yeah. As a top player, and I was not as a fan owner, what do you attribute to have been the reason why you think the Dynamo are making this giant stride to make it playoff back-to-back?
That answer's simple. Our general manager, Pat Onstad, technical director, Ashel Mendelson, and our amazing coach, Ben Olsen, they're the brain trust of what happens on the pitch. They have driven this team. When you look at our head coach, he's seen it all. I oftentimes say about Ben Olsen, there's nothing that can happen to this team that he hasn't seen. He's going to walk in the door every day, and those players have a leader that they can look at and say, no matter what, good or bad, he's going to drive us in the right direction. And continuity is important. We've kept a lot of the core together. This is, winning is about familiarity and what a winning feeling is like. Won the U.S. Open Cup last year, good playoff run. There's no doubt that helped carry on to this season. And I like where we're placed. I like where we're placed right now. I feel like Houston is gritty. There's an underdog mentality about the city. And when you look at our team, we'll probably have to go into the playoffs as somewhat of an underdog, which is great. Our guys roll their sleeves up and relish road games and relish games here at the Shell. So I'm excited about the next few weeks.
Talking about
One more. We'll go to Christian.
Yeah, just one quick one about the Dash. Just announced Zoe Matthews for the team, up-and-coming player. How excited are you about that signing, and what do you have any role in signing as well?
I was able to meet with Zoe and her family last week at the Dash game here on Friday night. Just an incredible family, an incredible young woman who, my daughter's the same age, and my daughter's going off to play Division I college at the University of Tennessee, Go Vols, and Zoe's in that same class. And look, it's brilliant. I don't mean to wax poetically, but my daughter a couple of years ago said, I want to play professional soccer, and I thought, well, heck, like 10 years ago you couldn't have said that because there was nothing there for you. So that with the fact that we're creating this opportunity for young women and for Zoe in particular, I think our task, I think of a father of a 17-year-old, right? Like our task is to protect her, is to push her, to drive her, but also ultimately remember she's a young woman trying to find her place in the world, and this is a huge jump for her. So on the field, we hope that she's going to get the best training that she could possibly get. That's why she signed with the Houston Dash. But there's also part of it that we as a club need to work with her and be around her and her family, be her family on the road, and protect her and give her an environment where she needs to succeed on the field. But you also forget you're getting a young woman who's just beginning to attack life, and we have to help her succeed off the field. So excited because wow, what an incredible prospect of a player we have as well.
Tim, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing. Have a great day. Thank you.